coordinator at the Hennepin South Services Collaborative. We are a regional research, planning, coordination, and family services collaborative in the South Hennepin area. Our service area right now is Ridgefield, Bloomington, Edina, Prairie. I was asked to come today because as part of my job with HSSC, I do data collection, analysis, distribution, and in December I distributed some fact sheets on Ridgefield, Bloomington, and Edina, Prairie, and those get distributed around, and folks who were coordinating this forum said, wow, that's good information, can you put one together for Edina also? So I did that. So basically on the table, if you didn't get them, I have 3 fact sheets, one for each of the 3 communities with the districts there today. And then I also have a fact sheet for Ridgefield, because that's our service area, if you're interested in getting that one too. I just didn't put that one out. And then also the slides for the PowerPoint are back there also. Okay. Briefly, the sources of data in the fact sheets are 3. The U.S. Census Bureau, and that includes the 80, 90, and 2000 decennial census. And then the Census Bureau is putting out a new product called the American Community Survey. They started this in 2005, and it is a true survey. So in the census, they get data from every household in the U.S. With the survey, they're truly randomly selecting households to collect data. And the intent here is to get more recent, more current data and get it updated and out to the folks rather than every 10 years that the census does. And basically the American Community Survey is replacing the long form in the old census. So this year everybody got the short form of 10 questions. Now they're doing the American Community Survey to collect all the other data that they used to collect in the long form. You know, education, income, what job you have, how long you drive to work, all that kind of, housing information, all that rich information they're now collecting in the American Community Survey. I also pulled in our data from the Minnesota Department of Education's website on free and reduced lunch eligibility. And the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office puts out their mortgage foreclosure auction data. So I pull that off of there each month and kind of crunch that data. Okay, first off, so I don't have information per se on homelessness because the Census Bureau doesn't collect that because people are homeless and they're collecting data from households. So what this is really is going to be the economic and fiscal realities of our communities and where folks are, kind of thing. So in terms of household income, median household income in terms of $2,009 has decreased in Bloomington and Edina, while Edina Prairie has seen a different trend. It steadily increased from 80, 90 to 2000, but in 2007, 2009, it actually decreased for the first time. So, I have 1 minute, wow. Okay. Population and poverty. In all 3 of these cities, we've seen an increase from 80 to 2007, or 2007, 2009 in population and poverty. A little different pattern for the 3 communities. Edina has kind of stayed stable since 2000, while Bloomington and Edina Prairie have clearly taken off there. Children living in poverty has increased for Bloomington and Edina Prairie, while, again, in Edina, a little different trend. It's actually at its lowest point in about 30 years. So while the population, overall population, is fairly stable, the children in poverty is decreasing. And basically what this is probably attributable to our seniors, singles living alone. Probably a more accurate look at people who are struggling economically are looking at people that are under 200% of poverty. So that would be for a family of 4, about $44,000 per year. And there we see for all 3 communities, from 80 to the most recent American Community Survey, a pretty clear increase. Again, Edina Prairie a little bit different, was sliding, but it's seen a pretty decent jump up here recently. Families living in poverty, both families and families' children have increased in Bloomington and Edina Prairie, while again in Edina, we're actually seeing a decrease. So again, this has to do with how the Census Bureau defines a family, and an individual living alone or cohabitating couples, unrelated folks living together is not a family as far as they're concerned. Families with children living in poverty, similar. So at Edina, we're seeing an actual downward trend, but Bloomington and Edina Prairie clearly upward. Free and reduced lunch eligibility. Okay, I'm hurrying. All three cities seeing a very clear pattern here. And this is because for free and reduced lunch, it's 185% of poverty. So even though the population in Edina, or the children in poverty is going down, that group between poverty and 200% of poverty is increasing. So we're seeing that upward trend there with reduced lunch eligibility, cost burden home ownership. Trying to hurry here. Homeowners with a mortgage from 80 to 2000, or from 80 to 2009, we're clearly seeing an upward trend again. Renters, three different stories here. Edina's been fairly steady. Bloomington kind of steadily increasing. Eden Prairie dropped, but is now coming back up again for cost burden renters. Mortgage foreclosure auctions, this is the last one, continuing to increase in all of our communities. Some a little more steeply than others, but still the overall trend for this 4-year pattern is clearly continuing upward trend there. Contact information, again, it's on the slide. And I know that was like a blitz through there. Usually I probably take about twice that amount of time. But when the question and answers, if you have questions about it or afterwards, feel free to stop by. What I will do also is put all of this information out on our website Monday morning, so you can download it there electronically, and feel free to forward it on to other folks. All right, I'll get on.